Travis Wing Goodsell. I'm trying to figure out where I should start. Should have thought of this before I started the video. When the light had departed, I had no strength, but soon recovering in some degree, I went home. And as I leaned up to the fireplace, Mother inquired what the matter was. I replied, "Never mind, all is well. I am well enough off." I then said to my mother, "I have learned for myself that Presbyterianism is not true." As Mormons, we are taught that story about the first vision. This year, Nelson declared this year to be the bicentennial year of the first vision. And as I attended probably 90% of the meetings of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, born and raised Mormon, having been devoted in attending the temple, living my life poor, which, as I discussed in a previous video, means that I am more devoted than the rich who are Mormon, because I give more in tithing than they do. And then on top of that, when I moved to Utah, I took advantage of the temple, going daily. And so just like Joseph Smith, where he attended the various churches, and I'll get to it, so did I attend the various meetings of the church, and seminary, and institute, and Rick's. Devoted my life, my career became the study of ancient culture and languages of the Middle East, of the Bible. And what I learned, because I learned how to research. Most people think that research is done by comparing different authors about what they say, and then making an argument for one author over another. And so Mormons make their arguments for the words of the prophets over the criticisms of the church. And those who are critics of the church choose to select authors who are critical of the church over what the church tells them. That's not how you do research. You do research by going to the primary sources themselves. If you want to learn about the past, don't read about some scholar who's trying to explain it. You go to the site that they are referring to, and you do your own independent research. That's what I did with the history of the church. And I have learned for myself that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has fallen into apostasy, and the current form is not true. So now I'll tell you. Presbyterian was never their church. They never joined the Presbyterians. That was all a shell game. They were Congregationalists. They had been from Vermont. That's why they were associated with the New Israelites, which was a form of Congregationalists. And Emma was Methodist. Her family was Methodist. And so, yes, despite Joseph Smith claiming in 1838 that he had the first vision in 1820, saying that Jesus Christ himself said, all Christian religions are wrong, don't join any of them. He, for that moment in 1838, forgot about the loss of his firstborn while he was working on the 116 pages that Martin Harris destroyed. And for a short time they attended Emma's Methodist church to find solace for the loss of their child. But because Joseph had been arrested in March of 1826, the Methodists wanted nothing to do with that kind in their church. And so Emma was also, by association, denied to attend the Methodists as well. In Lucy Mack's book, she doesn't even confess to being Presbyterian. She says, I'll let my son tell the story. And she quotes from the 1838. I was hoping to utilize YouTube because it's quicker and easier to speak and then upload rather than type and submit the book through Amazon. I was hoping this would get a lot more attention, my two channels, but now I found out that the church is purposely blocking me, holding me back, using YouTube to hold me back. Coming to find out that the religion you were born and raised in is wrong does shock a person. But it's because I did the research to find out. I didn't trust what other people were saying. I did the research, and I backed it up with the research I'd already done into Joseph Smith's translation work. So I was able to have the confidence that whatever I found, it would be okay for Joseph Smith. Even though I was willing to accept whatever come what may. But as I found out, yeah, Joseph Smith was innocent. He was an American hero. It was actually his dad. But his dad let his son take all the credit. And the son took over after Dad died in 1838. Betrayed by the church that took over. That's why I left the Mormon church, or don't associate with the church. I didn't bother to remove my name. It just adds to their criminal behavior. Using me, who no longer associates with the church, to involve themselves in insurance fraud, investment fraud, and tax fraud, and all sorts of stuff. So that's why I don't withdraw my name. And the church refuses to excommunicate me. The stake president says, I don't see anything worth excommunicating you over. Alright, whatever. It was the bishop's fault. If anyone should be excommunicated by the church, it should be Bishop Reed Hammond. For blowing it. And so, yeah, I've learned for myself that the current Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is false. And I've been trying to share that. And those who have left the church themselves, those who are able to type in and find me on YouTube or find my website, which is interesting because I was getting 3,000 views a day on my website, and then the church stepped in to the new owners, and all of a sudden I got shut down. Their new analytical program hid me on the internet. The day after I filed the lawsuit against the church. And now I've recognized that the church is preparing to flee at a moment's notice. To abandon the Mormons, take all the money, and head out to a non-extradition country. I'm sure they've already got it preset. They already know exactly which country they're going to. Whether it's Russia or some other non-extradition country, I don't think it matters. They're going to abandon Mormons. Once they get the signal that they need to leave immediately, they'll be gone. And most of them are gone already for the weekend because they got their assignments on Thursday. And depending on where it was, they would have left mostly on Fridays. But yeah, you can get a pattern for what people are going to do once you get an accurate profile of them. So yeah, I'm watching Blacklist, if you've been paying attention to other movies and videos of mine. When they murdered Lizzie, I had already knew ahead of time because I'd been watching the current season, the final season 7, and so I knew that she wasn't really dead, even though they made it appear as if she were dead. If I had been watching from the beginning and hadn't seen the current episodes, I wouldn't have known that. I would have been confused. Wasn't she the main character of the show and you kill her? She was just taking maternity leave. And the show was clever enough to allow her maternity leave but keep her involved. And we still get all the conflict of, is Reddington going to confess that he's her daddy? As another guy comes forward to say, I'm your father. Luke, I am your father. No! So, that's all for this video. I just wanted to let you guys in on that, because most of you are finding this video for the first time. You're finding me for the first time. That's what the YouTube analytics is telling me anyway. Whether that's accurate or not, there's no way to actually know unless you go through their system.